This is the User Adoption Podcast with your host, Henrik Dagier.
Who are you and what do you do?
Hello, Henrik. My name is Matt Berg. I am the Senior Director of Customer Success and Customer Success Solutions Consulting at SAP Concur.
Matt, how are you involved with user adoption?
Yeah, I think, look, in software, user adoption really it's everything. And people just, they don't usually just buy software and think that, it's just going to implement itself. And so, part of it is really just figuring out the ways for them to stick around. And if they're not adopting, they're definitely not sticking around. And usually at SAP Concur, it's actually twice as hard to get people to adopt, because not only do we have admins that we're trying to get up and running, we also have end users inside of those companies who are also trying to use our software. And so we really have two different sets of requirements to get up and running. And so in the role of the customer success manager at SAP Concur, we really own the outcomes and the adoption of the software and extended services.
Matt, what are the biggest challenges and successes you've seen with user adoption?
Yeah, I mean, the challenges really are probably similar to most other software companies. All software, in my opinion, has varying degrees of complexity. And really, most aren't plug and play. It's not a video game that you're going to download on your phone and an app and it's up and running and you're kind of intuitive. So with these complexities, obviously brings tons of challenges to adopt. And a lot of times what we see is that the person who's signing the contract for software is not necessarily the person who's in charge of implementing or administrating or even rolling out that software to employees or admins. So we really ask a lot of these people who are doing the implementation and administration to be a project manager and to also be a trainer. And that's usually not their strong set of skills. And so that is really, where we find it becoming most challenging when it comes to rolling out and gaining adoption. Where we've had really a lot of success with this is just understanding exactly during the customer lifecycle and journey where these adoption friction points happen. And when we figured that out through the hundreds of calls that we've had with customers over the years and really just digging into what are the pain points and things that can prevent and derail a project from moving forward, or even users from using this product and software, what we found is that, one, implementing some sort of software, a learning management piece of software that allows some knowledge checks and some videos to go out and really track and understand where customers are from a knowledge perspective, gives us a better insight into how to go deliver more information at a timely manner. And so we can roll that out at scale, but really where the magic happens is when we find that the customers are starting to derail and fall off the adoption spectrum, is that we get the CSMs to really make those phone calls and make those connections, help the customers overcome the hurdles that are preventing them from moving forward. And that takes sometimes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of effort and repetitiveness to get back in and make sure that people are feeling good to move forward.
Matt, what advice would you like to share with people working on improving user adoption?
Yeah, I think really when we started thinking about our user adoption journey, what really kind of stuck out to me and just some of the research that we were doing was just more of the motivational factors that go into adoption of any piece of, whether it's anything really in life. And what it really boiled down to, and some of the research we found is this principle around towards and away. And really, when we think about away, it's customers who are that have a problem and they're trying to move away from that situation. Maybe it's a repetitive task, maybe it's something really manual, but there's definitely a problem, an intrinsic problem inside that they're trying to get out of. They're trying to prevent, fix, and avoid. So that is exactly the kind of language that our CSMs need to recognize and really start to use and communicate back with their customers, helping them pinpoint those problem areas, identifying what the problems are, and really speaking to those more than the opposite of that, which would be the towards effect, which is people who are more around or geared and using language around moving towards goals. So these are folks and probably are more those contract signers, the C-level or the executives who are actually signing off on projects to be done. These are most people who want to gain something or they're looking to achieve. So again, like the language they're looking for and listening for is is milestones and when can we roll this out? And what day can we get it out there? And what will we get and gain when we do roll out this solution? So what we found is most of our customers administrators fall in that away bucket. And I would say for any of the listeners out there is to understand how your product fixes problems and prevents other problems from arising. And I think the more you can start to speak the same language with customers, I think that's when you start to get really the best buy-in and better product adoption. We really want to be almost like the Yoda and the guide, and the customer is the hero. And so that's really the story we're trying to tell.
And Matt, where can we learn more about user adoption and your work on the subject?
Yeah, well, we definitely have a Concur community. You can check that out at community.concur.com, which has a tons of resources, and I have a ton of responsibilities over the community as well. So we're posting blogs, we're putting up tons of good information for our customers that are out there. Sometimes it's more general in nature. People can find some ways to adopt as well. But then you can also find me on LinkedIn, Matt Berg at SAP Concur.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you.
For more on this, visit useradoptionpodcast.com. Don't forget to please subscribe, rate, and review. And for a book about this, check out useradoptionbook.com. Tune in next week for the next episode. Thanks for listening.